Hi everyone, I hope you had a nice weekend. And I've been thinking about the regressives regarding the migrant crisis. And they are holding the faith, like they are digging themselves even deeper into their foxholes, even though we've had all this fucking destruction going on around here, the rape crisis, terrorism, other crime, all this shit. But these people, they still hold on to the faith that they are helping Syrian refugees and that they are making the world a better place. They are creating a multicultural dream, and that our world is actually getting better by the minute. And Angela Merkel actually even gave this statement in which she said that she's convinced that we can make this work and that it's our generation's duty to handle this migrant crisis. And you could think like, what the hell makes her tick? Like, how can she think like that? But I have a very unique understanding about how the regressive mind works because I used to be one. I don't have to analyze their thinking, I just have to think, how did I think when I was one of them? So, here are the primary reasons for why regressives still hold the faith when it comes to the migrant crisis and the dream of a multicultural Europe. The first and foremost is pride. Like, think about having an ideology and you are very convinced that the ideology is the right one. You tout it everywhere. You're very loud about it. And you call all other people dumb who disagree with you. And then you realize you've actually been wrong all the time. It's not nice to have to admit it. It's actually pretty embarrassing. And you don't want to hear all those people say, well, I told you so. You don't want to hear them mocking you. So it's largely pride that keeps these people going. Then there is the shame. And the shame comes from a lot of these people being the feel-good type. Like, they don't think about things too much. They just want to help. They like to take part in protests. They like to give money to charity and take part in all these projects. But their problem is that they don't think about things at all. Like, they want to help, but they don't bother to find out who they should help and how. So these people, they were standing with these ridiculous refugees welcome signs and cinnamon buns welcoming grown men with teddy bears. And they thought they were helping Syrian refugees. They thought they were making the world a better place. But instead, they were causing a wave of terrorism. They were causing a rape crisis. They were causing 400,000 new crimes in Germany just in 1 year. All this. So it's understandably very painful to have to admit that all the time you thought you were helping. You thought you were doing something good, and actually you were causing a huge destruction and a lot of humane suffering. So it's understandably difficult. Then there are the ways they reason these things, like the sunk cost fallacy. And if you're not familiar with the term, sunk cost fallacy means that when you've made an investment and there's no way of retrieving your money anymore, then you shouldn't allow that money to affect your decision making in any way. Like a good example of that is that you bought a theater ticket and there's no way to get a refund for it anymore. And on the day of the show, you get ill and you're feeling terrible. But instead of just opting out, you think that, oh, but if I don't go, the money will be wasted. And of course you shouldn't go because the money will be wasted anyway. But if you go there when you're sick and you're feeling terrible, you're just making your own life worse. You're not gaining anything from it. So that's how the sunk cost fallacy works. And I believe that a lot of these multiculturalists, they think that, okay, we've taken so many of these people in, we've already caused so much change and destruction that we just have to keep going. We can't give up now. We've invested so much into this. And when they should actually be writing this down, like, okay, 1 million plus migrants, that's the loss we have here, and we should stop creating the loss. Instead, they just hold the faith. They keep going because the investment has been so big. And the fourth reason, of course, is a bit similar to the sunk cost fallacy. And it's the hope for a return. Like, if these people would look at the world and admit that, okay, multicultural world, that was a failure, it's not going to happen, then they would have to admit that there's a 0% chance of their dream ever coming true. But if they keep going, even if everything seems so terrible, even if all the odds and all the evidence are against you, if you keep going, you can at least hold on to the faith that there's this tiny chance of your dream coming true. You don't have to admit that it's impossible. And it's these largely emotional reasons that keep these people going. And some people have actually complimented me on how well I understand these regressives and how I can analyze their thinking. But as I said, it's not about analyzing, it's just about remembering how I was when I was one of them. So this is how their mind works, and I think it's good to understand these people. Like, it helps you to know what they are planning, what they are going to do, and it's easier to debate them and understand their motives when you understand the reasoning behind it, like how their mind works, the systems behind it. And of course, these far left regressives, these who are like steadily multiculturalists, like they are not giving up. Those people are like fundamentalists. They are not going to give up. There's no amount of evidence you could show them that would ever change their minds. They are not going to budge. So it's pretty much useless to debate them. But if you do it publicly, for example in Twitter or in Facebook or in blog posts or videos, then you can actually affect the people who are watching the discussion. And those are the people who you should be affecting. Like, we shouldn't try to convince these far left crazies that multicultural society doesn't work and that we should limit our immigration a lot. It's the masses, the majority of people who are completely sane. Those are the people we should be talking to. So here's what I think about this. Thank you for listening. Have a nice weekend.